thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Downs, or do you mind if I call you Jonathan?
No, Jonathan's great.
Thank you. So I'm Sage reporting from the Kalkine studio, and we're so privileged to have you here with us today. I guess we should just get started with the questionnaire without any further ado.
Great. Thank you very much, Sage.
Thank you. So congratulations on becoming a gold miner and producer and relisting on the ASX recently. How would you describe Kaiser's transformational journey from an explorer to a gold producer?
Well, to be honest, it's probably been more work and more of an arduous journey than we'd expected initially. There was a lot of compliance and recompliance and having to rewrite prospectuses and essentially relist the company. But we certainly are very pleased that we've done it. It's been I guess, a rewarding trip. The exploration ground is fabulous. We can continue with that now as an explorer.
Which is big news. It's transformational times for your company from the sounds of things. So gold had a wonderful 2020. What is your view on the long-term prospects of gold? And how do you see KAU, which is the ticker code for Kaiser Reef Ltd, aligning with the gold prices?
I think that my personal view is that gold's going to have a fabulous time while quantitative easing is still going to be the saviour of the world economies in these tough times. So I'm very comfortable that gold's got a prosperous year ahead of it. And now that we're actually a gold producer, we'll be able to directly benefit both into exploration and production. So we're exceptionally well aligned.
Fantastic. The ore mining grade of 11.4 grams per tonne of gold has observed in the last 18 months at A1 mine is exceptional. Overall, the Centennial Assets have a historic gold production of approximately 2 million ounces of gold. How substantial is the opportunity at the Victorian Assets, please?
Well, in this acquisition, aside from the operating mine, which is a fabulous mine, it's been running since 1861, so it's a very substantial gold deposit. But with this acquisition, we acquired two goldfields, not just the A1 mine, but also the Malden goldfield, both in Victoria, and both with an exceptional production history. And it's certainly my belief that neither of them have had some proper modern exploration targeting the extents at depth beyond what the old timers had exploited. So there's the opportunity. And at Malden, one of the most fabulous ore bodies was mined, the Nuggety mine at 300,000 tonnes at 187 grams a tonne. So that'll be I think there's a huge upside.
Fantastic. And exploration drilling at the Queen's Lode is already underway. Could you please share the exploration and development plans for A1 and the Malden Goldfield, which you just touched on?
Yeah, sure. The A1 mine has been running with a sort of a handheld air legging targeting these high-grade veins, and we haven't had any reserves. It's been under administration, so it's been run in a manner not really in line with an expansionary future-looking operation as you'd expect with a listed company. So there's going to have to be a real culture change with how this operation is going to run. And
absolutely.
The sitting below where most of the mine is being exploited at the moment is a larger project that's called the Queen's Lode, and it's a much wider lode, up to well over 20 metres in width in parts, and that's going to allow us to go in and really increase the production rate. And we've been drilling that, and in fact, we just announced just before this meeting the first drill results. Just as we move towards the actual lode, looking to where we're going to put the decline, and already getting some very, very high grades of gold up to 68 grams a tonne. Wow. So the Queen's Lode is our first target for really filling that mill and ramping up our production rate. Mm-hmm. And likewise, Malden offers that opportunity as well. There are existing declines and they're dewatered, they have electricity, they're ready to go, but a lot more work needs to go into the exploration side just to firm up confidence in what we would want to exploit there.
Of course. Early stages yet, I suppose. The 150,000 TPA CIP beneficiation plant is currently operating at lower rates. Could you share the plans to revamp or ramp up the operations there?
Yeah, sure. So that processing plant as we touched on, has been running under administration, and the administrators don't really look to this sort of expansionary process. And so what was existing reserves have pretty much been run down. So what we need to do now is really get that exploration rig going, prove up a lot more high-grade gold, and we have the ability, all the licenses are on granted mining licenses. We have the mines are all permitted, the process plant's obviously permitted. So if we find some high-grade gold, we can turn it into production very, very quickly and very easily.
Fantastic news. Would you like to touch upon the short to midterm plans of Kaiser Reef and how well these align with the company's long-term vision, please?
Sure. Well, I guess we've already kicked off on the medium to long-term plan. So initially, we're just bedding down the acquisition. There's a lot to do there. It comes with a large mining team of very well-experienced operators and the process plant operators as well. And we've got to settle in the team. But going forward, I think everyone's really looking forward to drilling out the Queen's Lode as an initial step, and then moving into all those exploration targets and seeing what we can pull together there. And at the same time, we're quite keen to keep working away in New South Wales.
Great. Well, the Stewart Town Gold Project has been the first gold project for Kaiser Reef and is a premium gold project in the Lachlan Fold belt of New South Wales, which you've just mentioned. Could you share the upcoming exploration plans for this gold project, please?
Yes, sure. It's probably been taken a little bit of a backseat to where it was when we first listed, obviously, but we actually got some pretty encouraging first pass results, which we're really looking forward to following up. We got some very coarse gold, which made assaying quite complex. So we're trying to work out a solution how to work out what the actual gold grade was. We also drilled a deep diamond drill hole, which is currently being assayed. So that'll be very interesting to see what that tells us about the big targets we were looking for in New South Wales. And certainly we really like that project. We want to keep going on that. And that is a company maker if we're successful there as well. We are looking for that larger tonnage sort of copper gold porphyry system.
Thank you for sharing that. Where would you like the company to be in 12 months from now?
Well, I'd like to see that mill full and the gold price to be at least holding where it is, which I think would give us a very solid backdrop to where we are. I would expect to be a very profitable producer, and I would love to be working on developments going forward at the Malden and other A1 targets.
Perfect. We remember Kaiser Reef being one of the tightest listings in early 2020 and offered substantial returns to its shareholders, even during the pandemic. How is Kaiser placed to create shareholder value in the future, please?
Well, because we started off with a very tight capital structure, and that is a very small number of shares on issue, we've managed to make this acquisition in the same manner. And in fact, at the prospectus price, the whole company is actually only has an enterprise value of $24 million, which I believe it's certainly the lowest valued gold company on their ASX. And I think there's a terrific opportunity there as we kick some goals and show that we're a profitable producer. But then the exploration upside really is extraordinary. If you take the Bellevue Gold Company worth over $500 million and compare, that had a historic production of 800,000 ounces at 15 grams a tonne, and then compare it with the Malden Goldfield, which is twice as big and twice the grade. So the value proposition, I think, is so compelling, but it's going to take a while to tell the story for shareholders to understand what we actually hold now, and it's going to take some time for us to earn our stripes by proving it up.
Exactly. And well, your company is obviously offering a lot of people hope during this time of uncertainty and making some big changes and moving towards further growth. So it's definitely a very inspiring time. Finally, for our viewers who've joined us today, would you like to share any final thoughts that will help them with their decisions in investing in KAU?
Oh, that's a tricky one. I don't think I'm even allowed to provide investment advice, but certainly from a value proposition, as I touched on, I think it looks like something that I think offers terrific upside. And some of our neighbours are much, I guess, larger companies than us, such as Catalyst and Kalamazoo, and of course Kirkland Lakes, which I think's got a $6 billion market capitalisation just up at the Fosterville mine. If we're successful in what we're hoping to do, I think we offer some really compelling upside.
And I suppose creating employment for many people might be one of those upsides. Well, thank you.
Absolutely. The Victorian government is very supportive.
Oh, wonderful. Good news. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Jonathan. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you very much, Sage. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you for joining us. So thank you, viewers. That was Jonathan Downs, one of the executives from Kaiser Reef Ltd, ticker code KAU. So hopefully you've enjoyed the information that he had to share on the prospects for gold targeting and production in the future. Thank you for joining us. This is Sage signing out for Kalkine TV.